welcome everybody to the Confession Post podcast. I'm Morgan Rector.
I'm Rosanna Shelton.
All right. And it's funny, we were discussing the show a couple of days ago, and I came up with the idea of confessing to things of our own, from our own lives. And Rosanna is certainly free to choose not to if she doesn't want to. But I'll go with something that is probably pretty embarrassing for most other people. I think it would be, especially men. But and you got to let me explain the whole story first. So when I was like 13, I was a fan of the New Kids on the Block. So that's my embarrassing confession for today. I didn't like have a gay crush on any of those guys. See, what happened was, at first I hated them because it was just the kind of music I wasn't supposed to like because I was a guy, and of course most of their fans were girls because every few years another boy band comes along and the girls go crazy over them. But I listened to this radio station in Toronto called CFTR, and they played New Kids on the Block music like constantly. It was a radio station for teenagers, and so I just heard the songs so many goddamn times that they grew on me, and that's how I became a fan, and I even went to a concert. So that's my embarrassing confession for today. Did you have one, Rosanna?
Well, I mean, I guess I could admit some of my musical things. I too still I think to this day know every word to New Kids on the Block song.
Oh, you were a fan too, right?
Yeah, I do. I was like, what, 8, 9, 10, around there. I had crushes on them for sure.
Oh yeah. Did you have a favorite from?
I think it was Jordan.
Jordan, yeah, he was one of the most popular.
And I had a crush on Joey, and I mean, I had pretty much everyone but Danny.
Poor Danny, like he was.
I know. Poor guy.
He was the least talented and the least attractive. If you heard of a girl being a fan of Danny, it definitely stood out because he was very much the underdog of the group.
Yeah, for sure.
So were you into Backstreet and NSYNC later on?
No, I mean those ones I kind of started off the same way. Like I was kind of like, these guys, and like now I know every fucking word. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like Limp Bizkit. I mean, people seem to have.
I know all that shit too. Like.
Well, a lot of people feel like well, that was like a low point in rock and roll, and I don't know. There were some good songs, you know.
There were okay, so $3 Bill, y'all, is still my favorite. It's all the first album was the most raw, right? And they were screaming lots on it, and it was definitely a good teenage angst fucking album,
Yeah. Well, did you end up getting into hard rock or industrial?
Oh man, I was hardcore Marilyn Manson fan and 9 Inch Nails as a teenager, and I was at 13 I was really into grunge. I went through phases, right? I always loved White Zombie. I knew of them for ever, and yeah. There's my music. Music was pretty much the only thing I kind of had for a while because the internet wasn't really around, right?
Yeah. So were you into the goth scene at all or anything?
Oh fuck yeah. Yeah.
You wore a lot of black.
Still kind of am.
Well, it's slimming. Not that you need to wear slimming clothing. But...
Well, every little bit helps.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so I'm going to go to my first confession for this episode, and the title is Oops, Turned Out Okay. So my wife walked in on me one afternoon while I was in the bedroom with a couple of pics of her younger sister laid out on the bed, and I was whacking it to them One was just a random picture, and two were of her in a bikini on a family holiday the previous year. Needless to say, she was not impressed, and the fact that in the pic she was 17 did not help the situation, but she came in, freaked, and scolded me, but then she told me to finish. I was like, huh? She told me to get it over with and sat there with her arms crossed. Long story short, I did. Came on a towel and she gathered up all the pictures, shredded them, and we have never spoken of it since. I don't know, it was kind of hot watching her angrily watch me. Do you think he should have finished, or do you?
I don't know. It
Was
was,
that?
I guess it was a test to the relationship, like, to start. Like,
I mean, that makes me
if,
wonder if like that's kind of like the thing women do, like they say fine, but fine doesn't mean fine. It means something else.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, there's definitely that, but I think this guy's probably just like a sub and he doesn't really know, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
He's just
sounds like
finding things out
sounds like
now.
yeah, it
Because,
sounds
I
like he's
mean,
probably being controlled in that relationship.
a little bit, but I mean, like, uh, sometimes it's just like in the bedroom and sometimes it's all over, but like, hopefully, like, I don't know, for him, it's just in the bedroom. Or maybe he's trying to get some,
Yeah,
get
maybe.
that started, get the ball rolling. Some people don't really know how to do that, but I wouldn't suggest that way, maybe. But
Well, I mean,
because that's a little fucked. Because it's a 17-year-old girl.
yeah, that's
So
yeah.
like that's first of all,
Uh,
and then there's like yeah, just I don't know. She handled it very interesting. I will say that.
well, like in marriages, it can be difficult to maintain a sex life with any
Oh, for
amount of rigor.
sure.
And I'm wondering, uh, should you respect your spouse's right to masturbate, even if it's not to you? I mean, is that something that spouses should give each other space to do?
I think so.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
mean, you're not like, well, you're not fucking them. That's a whole nother realm.
like if you walk
If
in on
you're doing that, then you may as well be polyamorous, right? Like,
like if you were cohabiting or married to someone and you walked in and they were masturbating, would you walk back out or would you watch? What would you do?
uh, I don't know. That's a tough one. I probably would like awkwardly give them their space and
Yeah.
then think about it later and be like, oh, I could have maybe helped, like, or I don't know. Because, I mean, really, like, it's kind of, I would find it probably a little bit shocking, like, but I mean, also hot. I love watching that. So, I don't know, maybe I would watch. It's hard to say. I've not really been in a situation quite like that.
Well, I guess it depends on the gender. Women definitely are much more entertaining to watch when it comes to masturbation.
Yeah, that's
And are
true. But I mean, I don't know. Like, I've found some. I like at first when in my younger years it's kind of like nah, but now it's just gotten really fucking hot. So
yeah.
I guess things kind of change.
Well, I mean, there are people who feel as well, like when it comes to intimacy of all kinds, that there should be no privacy, that couples should share everything. They should not have individual separate lives when it comes to anything, not just sex. But do you think maybe it might be a little helpful to actually do have a secret world to some degree where you're not just, you know, not just everything is being shared.
Yeah, well, you do need to have your separate like lives and shit. Well, not lives, but you need space.
Yeah, yeah. Because like, a lot of guys have the so-called man caves these days, and
Yeah, that's sweet. Like the only the only problem is like I like that shit too.
yeah, have the whole room with
like
your interests.
Like if they got a dartboard, that's sick. Like the more advanced ones, maybe got a pool
Yeah,
table. That's all right. I like fucking around with that shit. So,
yeah. You probably like to have like a studio to do your art, I presume.
my parents have one, and actually, that is something that I need to get back on.
Yeah. So what?
Yeah, I have a
So what
little bit more time these days, so.
are one of your parents into art? Do they
Oh
do?
yeah, my mom, she's been at it for a really long time. As a teenager, she wanted to be a photographer, and she had like one of those little sort of toy cameras, and I think she still has them. But she started out with that, like not much, because she wasn't very wealthy at the time. So,
Yeah.
she'd take pictures where she could, and picked it up way later after she had kids, I think. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. I wish I had had a parent who was artistic. That would have been really neat.
Yeah,
And
yeah, she's awesome.
she encouraged you with your art.
Yeah, totally. Like whenever I go out to the studio with her, she usually gives me she gives me things to start with that I wanted to like go in and just paint, right? And mom's like, "All right, now we're getting some charcoal, some paper, we're gonna sketch some stuff. Like you're gonna get warmed up and blah 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 blah." Like it's great. I'm like,
Yeah, that's yeah. And
it does get the juices flowing. So,
helping you
and
at the
it's
same time. That's great. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So what's your first confession?
Okay, so like I had to look up what melees meant, and I think this is a racist one.
Okay.
And I didn't think it was going to be because it just sounded like, oh, other races. Yeah, never mind. So I didn't know that like this was like this confession post was sort of like, a place for, I thought it was all sexual things.
Yeah, it can definitely give you that impression because it seems like at least 80% is like sexual, but there are a lot of other things too, fortunately.
All right, well, I'm gonna go to the heartwarming one first
Yeah.
because this one I loved. My fat wife,
Oh
my
boy.
B, what?
No, I was just say, oh boy. Yeah, here we go. Yeah.
No, my B wife was 240 pounds when we met 30 years ago. Six babies and 75 pounds later, I love her even more. And I think that was beautiful. Because I'm like, God damn, six babies.
Actually, yeah, she's lucky she didn't gain more weight than that. That sounds.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe she's gained a lot of that weight just from age as well.
I love it. That was super, super heartwarming, and it stuck out to me. I was
Well,
just like, oh,
one thing that's kind of
everybody
absurd
can.
is that
What's that?
there are a lot of guys who will date a woman who's overweight, like they met her that way, and then they give her a hard time about it. But it's like, well, you knew what you were getting yourself into, so why are you giving her a hard time about it if that's the way she was when you met? But a lot of men,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
I don't know if it's something women do or not, though. I mean, I know a lot of women have this obsession with like changing the guy, so maybe that happens too. But yeah, a lot of men just have those strange expectations, and
Yeah, I mean, over the years, I don't like that stuff doesn't really matter. It's like, can you like, do they get you? Like,
yeah, yeah,
you
that's important.
know, that's like, I mean, like very basic sounding, but like it is hard to find some like in a lot of places. Like you just can't always identify with everybody,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
It's a vibe.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
It's like what this girl told me about the classic does size matter question. She said sex is about chemistry, not big dicks. There you go.
Well, it's about that big dick swinging vibe. Like you can
Yeah.
walk like you got it. You don't have to have it, but like,
Well,
you
I think
know,
guys who are well endowed think maybe that's all it takes to be effective in the bedroom. Like they don't have to do foreplay, they don't have to do anything. Like, well, she's getting that, so why
yeah,
try? You know what I mean? But, but is that
that's
enough?
true. I don't know. It depends. You know, like there is that, like
Well,
everyone's different.
I believe most women want to be with who are straight want to be with a guy who's generously endowed. And
Yeah.
I don't think.
Oh well, I mean, it's like it's anywhere from like just over, I guess, average to like about 9 is ideal, and girth is like a big deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
Well,
about
I've,
it. That's
I've,
my, I mean,
yeah,
that's coming from just me, but I'm pretty
yeah.
sure I know a lot of other girls that have said almost the same thing. So, and I mean,
Well,
it's all how you use it too. There's
I've
that.
wondered if women feel the same way about penis size that men do about breast size, because it's like, yeah, men do love big boobs, but I've never heard of a guy breaking up with a woman because she didn't have them, and ultimately
Oh, boobs?
men accept.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, like, honestly, as long as they look nice, that's all that really matters. And, like, there's some guys that are just more into butts.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. Yeah. Okay. All right. So on to my next confession, and this is something that I suspect must be an issue among a lot of women and their friends, their girlfriends. Um,
Oh, yes.
so this
Haha.
is the title of this one is "Bored of Best Friend's Wedding Talk." So my BFF has been married for a year. She still talks about the wedding every chance she gets. Also, if I mention someone else having, the most amazing wedding dress I've ever seen or a stunning ring, she appears to get jealous, as if I'm not supposed to have an opinion on anyone else's wedding but hers. She also seems to have adopted an attitude as if she thinks that is still entitled to all the attention that came with planning the wedding. It's seriously boring me now. I feel that she needs to get over herself and get on with her life. Am I being too mean? Well, is she?
I personally don't think so, because, I mean, like, the other girl, like, she can't, like, fucking win it all. Like,
No.
shit. That's what it feels like. She's, like, she's a little demanding, I guess, on the energy side and the attention side. And like maybe like she's very insecure.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, I mean, my mother lost a friend to the bridezilla, phenomenon because the bride was just. There's something about getting married that brings out the worst in a lot of women.
Yeah, fuck that shit. No. Like that's not supposed to be like how a wedding goes. Like I hate that. Like that's like what are you doing? You're fucking everything up. Like the this is not pleasant for anyone anymore.
Like all the bridesmaids have to wear ugly dresses, and in some extreme cases, they may even decide like they all have to have the same hairstyle or something
Mm.
like that. And if they don't, she gets
Oh
abusive.
man.
There are people who will like get angry at people because they feel like their gift wasn't lavish enough, like they should have bought a really expensive present to give them. It's just
Yeah.
amazing how weddings bring out the worst in people sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Like, and people spend so much money on that. Like, and it's so fucking unnecessary.
And actually, the funny thing is, if you've ever known someone who married more than once, the second wedding or the third wedding, it was always a much more stripped down
It's
affair.
a very modest affair.
May have just done it at their house or something like that in the
Yeah,
backyard, or maybe
yeah,
they just went to city hall and did it. But it's
yeah,
like they just look back and realize the first wedding they spent so much money, and for what? For a dress she'll never wear again, and it
yeah. See,
becomes
that's
so
the
stressful.
thing. My wedding dress, I'm at least gonna want to wear mm, at least 2 or 3 more times. Could
Yeah,
probably wear it like in a Halloween costume or some shit, right? I'm
yeah.
like, I'm not about fucking them fucking crazy white. Like white's nice and it's pretty and whatnot, but like you get shit on it.
Yeah.
And I know myself. I'm like fucking. I'm gonna spill some shit all over it, and then, yeah, then fuck it. So I'm getting something that's darker that's gonna hide whatever. Like
Yeah,
maybe
like,
has some sort of pattern.
yeah, or dress
Maybe.
like Morticia or something like that.
Yeah, right? Like, yeah, fuck, if you've got a low enough neckline, you can just like wipe it off your chest, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Or you know what? Just have like a cosplay wedding. Tell everyone dress as your favorite character or something. Have a fun wedding, you know?
yeah, right? Like,
If
yeah,
you're
oh,
gonna spend,
totally. Like, I was thinking that, like, everybody fucking, like, I actually, the 1920s is like pretty classic for that shit. Like, the
oh yeah,
dresses are nice, and like, people are, like, it's easy to do. You know, that one I kind of, that's like one of my go-tos. I like that, you know, for style first. Even for like a wedding dress, even if the whole thing isn't that theme, I'm gonna have something like that probably.
or if you,
Something simple.
or if you do have a fuck ton of money to spend, maybe rent like one of those carnivals that set up in like shopping mall parking lots. Have some fucking fun, you know?
Yeah.
Everyone can get drunk and go on the tilt-a-whirl and shit. That'd be great.
Yeah, yeah, fuck that. Yeah, that'd be
Everyone would love.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. That would be awesome. You could just like everybody like goes in that fucking slingshot, whatever. Oh man, K days. That's like probably the most ideal like kind of um what is it? Shit. Um adventure shit. I can't I smoked a joint earlier, so I can't even remember like what amusement park. Amusement
Yeah.
park. There we go.
Do they still have Rainbow Valley and PEI?
Rainbow Valley?
Yeah, I remember
Fuck,
them
I don't
having.
know.
I
That's
think
a good question.
that was when in the '80s when I still lived there. I remember that being there, but maybe they lost. Um, what's the one in near Moncton? There's a big water park. I forget what that's called. Because they have one in California as well. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Um, oh shit. Oh well. Anyway, yeah, it would be better to do like a wedding at a water park, you know, an amusement park or
Yeah, oh
something.
yeah, water park would be cool. Yeah, yeah, that'd be dope.
All right, what's your next
My
confession?
next one. Hang on, my phone shut off here. Um, Nylon panties.
Ooh, okay.
Did um so nylon panties have been wearing women's nylon panties for years now, and they feel so amazing against my skin. And when I get hard and start dripping pre-cum, I jerk off and come all of them, all over them is what he probably should have wrote. My fantasies is getting a nylon panties hand job. I will never go back to cotton men underwear and love masturbating to them. They are such a major turn on.
Well, you know, we've been hearing a lot about patriarchy for the last few years, but you know what? Female sexuality, even just the clothing women wear, that's a form of power, and
It is.
it is, and
Totally.
it can change lives, it can destroy lives sometimes too. But when you consider how much this guy's getting off just on an undergarment that women wear, uh,
Yeah.
and women can make money off of it, whereas I don't know how much male strippers make, but pretty sure female strippers make more. But that's men kind of have power politically or monetarily, but women wield influence and power through their appearance, their sexuality, because it's not just in terms of the exterior, it's also uh, that ability to project those feelings from the inside. Uh,
Right.
yeah, because I don't know how often men really seduce women, but women can definitely seduce men. So, like if a woman has no interest in sleeping with a guy, can he persuade her to do it?
Um,
Is that possible?
I don't know.
Because women can do that to men, like a guy who doesn't want to cheat on his wife, another woman could go to work on him and at least tempt him to do it. But it seems like women, if they've dug in their heels, like I do not want to have sex with this guy, it's usually very unlikely that they can be talked into it.
I don't know. Like it's.
Well, have you ever had a guy? Have you ever known a guy and you had no interest in him, but somehow he went to work on you just by talking to you or whatever, and he said the right things and turned your view of him around?
Yeah. Okay. I've had it like a couple, I guess.
Well, yeah, I guess some guys have that gift of gab where they know what things to say.
Yeah.
So most of them don't, though. I would guess that most of them don't have that ability. But
yeah, I mean it's everybody has those has gifts or.
Well, yeah. Well, I read this statistic that said the average woman is only attracted to 15% of the male population.
What?
15%. That's what it said. Like,
I guess the male population is really big.
or the
because I mean,
just one.
I don't know.
So I guess like maybe only 15% of the entire male population is appealing to women. Maybe the rest of them are just, I don't know what they do, but or maybe they get the women who are left over. I mean, that's how it works out.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it depends on where they were doing this search, like amongst who, like single people or like.
Well, I guess I
guess it would be single people.
Yeah, it was a study. Maybe it might have even have been a university study, but they interviewed a lot of single women and just asked them about what kind of guys they're attracted to, and they found that, yeah, it's narrowed down to a very small select group.
Oh.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I think most men may not necessarily have a type, or they seem to be open-minded toward most women, but I find women tend to have a type. I mean, that's what I find.
Yeah. I mean, most do, yeah, I would say. Some don't really think about types so much, and it's like for the most part, like I don't decide I'm gonna sleep with somebody until I meet them, right?
Yeah.
Like I have to obviously meet them.
Is
and
that safety concerns?
Well, I guess I never really thought about that, but I have to meet them and at least have a few hours to kind of figure that out, because I mean,
yeah, true, yeah,
you're not gonna know just by face value, even you gotta warm up. You can look at people's pictures on the internet and whatnot, and it's just sometimes when they open their mouth, it's not it's not good, right?
Yeah, there's a reality show about people who've fallen in love with someone who lives really far away.
Catfish.
It wasn't Catfish. It was 99 Days or 90 Days or something like that.
Okay.
Name. But one woman fell in love with a guy who lives in Africa. Another woman fell in love with a woman who lives in Australia. And I was thinking, man, what if they go all the way there and there's no connection in person? What a fucking disaster,
I know, right?
It seemed, well, the one with the African, that one didn't work out so well because of cultural differences that she couldn't adapt to, because obviously women in the United States have a lot more autonomy than they do in Africa.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was just certain pressures there that he was under that kind of sabotaged their relationship. So anyway, going back to underwear for a second, have you ever?
Yeah. Okay. So this guy, he likes the feeling of that on his crotchal region, and yeah, I've heard of this. I've seen it in real life as well. Not this exactly, but I've seen like how, I guess, enjoyable it is. Like they,
Well, some women's underwear is made of like silk and satin,
yeah.
nice material. Like, why can't they make briefs and boxer shorts and boxer
I think
briefs? When,
they,
you know,
I think they do have things sort of like it. It's like almost like a mock version of that, and that would be probably like Saks or something. Like,
yeah, I
like they
guess.
fit really well and whatnot. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, because the speedos never, they never
No.
appealed to
Oh
women.
my God. Yeah,
Marble bags.
the Speedo underwear. I've seen that like when I was in high school, and I like I it was too late to say no, like you're just
Yeah,
like,
especially,
oh
especially
fuck, you have the worst underwear I've ever seen in my life.
especially especially the animal print ones like the leopard or the zebra.
Yeah, this one was just like a regular stripe. Like, it was, I don't even know, like it was cotton and form fitting and not attractive. And this guy, I think he was goth, so it really like took me aback.
Wow.
It's like,
So what is
your
it?
underwear is no, I
Yeah.
don't want it. This is too late for me.
So what is that moment like when you're sleeping with a guy for the first time and the unveiling takes place? Like, are you kind of on edge? Like, wait when he's about to take it out? Like, how big is it?
On edge. Well,
It's like you're hopeful.
sort of. I don't
Hoping.
know. Like, I guess you just make out with them first and figure
Oh,
that out for yourself.
yeah, get a feel for the situation.
Yep.
Oh, and also, have you ever eaten edible underwear before?
No,
No,
no, I
neither.
haven't. I
Yeah.
heard it's like fruit roll-ups,
Oh, it's that kind
something
of.
like that. Like, yeah, so that's told. Or like sort of like fruit roll-up-y, licoricey kind of. I don't know.
That's fine, but I don't know if I'd want to eat it if it was a thong. I don't know if that's a good
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. I
Or if
wouldn't
they've been,
really want to wear it if it was a
yeah,
thong.
yeah, or if they've been wearing it all day long. I don't know.
Oh no, you can't do that. No, that's a UTI right there. That's
Yeah,
like, if for us, like, that's no, you can't wear that shit all day. It'd be so sticky.
yeah,
Like it'd
too much
be so
discharge.
sticky.
Well,
You'd be
then
like
again,
binded to your pants pretty much. Just like it won't like it'd be
well,
all gross.
then again, going back to the whole thing about the power of female sexuality, there are women who've made money by selling their used underwear, and there are men who will buy it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be legitimately worn, of course, but that's how desperate men are to make contact with females. And I'm pretty sure there are no women buying used men's underwear because that's a biohazard. So anyway,
Yeah.
my next confession. Uh, the title is Future Serial Killer. I'm 20 years old, male, and I fantasize about murder and getting away with it. I believe when I'm older, late 30s, I will be a serial killer. I want to target anyone I can get away with killing. My passion is to torture in any way, then kill them and sodomize them and come in their dead mouths. I
Oh my
won't.
God.
Yeah. Apparently, this is a principled serial killer. They say, I won't target children, but teenagers, boys, and girls. I want to be known as the best who never got caught. I love blood and want to strangle anyone I see. I want to rape and beat anyone I can if I can find a way to never get busted. I want to be remembered forever as the best serial killer in all time. I want my news on the front page, and I want to be talked about on TV. I love doing evil things and hurting anything. I used to worship Satan till he made my life um, so I guess I don't know what this word is. Made my life shit. So I pray to God, but He can't save my future victims. I hate being told anything by anyone I'm filled with demons, and when I can get away with it, I'm killing anyone. So, but this
So,
believing this sound legit to you?
well, I'm not sure. That's a like.
Well, it's like in terms of the true crime media that's out there, of which I'm a part.
Yeah.
It seems to me like if you do a lot of reading in that area, or if you listen to Human Monsters and other shows like it, you can learn how not to get caught. And maybe that's the downside of putting that out there. That if you're an educated true crime researcher, you can figure out ways to not get caught. And actually,
Yeah.
there are active serial killers who have not been caught. So if you plan carefully, you can get away with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the thing. If you plan it carefully and cover everything, you can totally do it. But like the things we have now, I think people would get caught way quicker.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, there are a few things that you gotta avoid doing. So like trademarks, like leaving some kind of,
Oh yeah, obviously.
kind of, I don't know, like killing every person in the same way, or
Yeah.
putting messages on them or something like that.
Yeah.
Taunting the media. There's always a lot of these ways can definitely get you caught. So
Yeah, I mean, writing on that, like, I'm sure, like, oh, I guess it's like very anonymous. So like,
yeah, because the BJ killer, he was so into the media exposure that's what led to him getting himself caught. Because if he hadn't tried to communicate with the media at all, he'd still be a free man. So it was the ego thing for him.
yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think homicidal tendencies are nearly as rare as we like to believe, because there was a poll that came out that revealed that over 90% of the general population has had a homicidal fantasy at least once in their life.
Oh, fuck yeah. I mean, I feel like we all kind of have, like, and like, it's healthy to think about it. It's not to do it.
Well, before society evolved with police and everything, people were killing left and right. They had to. It was a survival mechanism. And I think if you've never had enemies, which is highly unlikely, then maybe you wouldn't have had those fantasies. But haven't we all known someone we hated so much we fantasized about bringing about their untimely demise?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've had dreams like that. Well, not like dreams where like I've like totally like killed somebody, but like I was pretty set to do that in my dream, and then dreams get fucked up.
Oh yeah, yeah. Or if you've
I
ever,
didn't actually get to do it because it was it just didn't happen in the dream. Like shit changed. It's like, and next dream.
well, if you've ever worked in customer service, you know what it's like to have homicidal fantasies.
Oh man, I've done that for a lot of my life. A lot of my life. I love people, but I also really hate people.
Yeah, you've no doubt dealt with a lot
I
of.
seriously love them, but like, and when I love them, I love them. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
good, you're awesome, you're my favorite, you're great. Like, Jesus Christ, there needs to be more people like you. And then the other people are just like, y'all can fuck off and die.
Yeah. Because I'm sure you must have dealt with a lot of Karens over the years in customer service, and
Yes.
there is something about
Very many. A lot many.
Well, I'll tell you my theory about Karens. I think these women, when they were young, they were very attractive, and it's been scientifically proven attractive people are treated better than everyone else, and they were so used to getting their asses kissed and having people do favors for them that when they got older and people lost that interest in them, they became outraged because they thought, well, it's normal to be treated special, and they just didn't know about how things work for everyone else.
Yeah.
And then it's out like, why aren't you breaking the policy of this company for me?
Yeah,
Well,
well, I don't know you. That's usually my first, like, I don't like know you. I do that, like, that's friends and family. Like,
well,
sorry. And that's like even that's in uh fucking in like the mall and shit like that. Customer service in the mall when you do like clothes stores and shit. They
oh,
like fucking that shit's like all that. Like you get discounts, you can give a couple people discounts, and like and that's it. Like you get that's all you get. But like these other people, the good looks people, whatever, they've like batted their eyes and whatever, or maybe had enough friends coincidentally that were like, working in some of these places and just like, are able to like live life to the fullest and then realize later that, oh shit, the whole world's not like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's like, yeah, my mother was once a hairdresser in Nova Scotia for most of her career, and women would sit down, and my mother was, highly trained, and even took these Vidal Sassoon courses so that she could update her knowledge of like the trendy hairstyles. Very
Yeah.
experienced. But these women would sit down in the fucking chair and say, "Don't mess it up now." Like, imagine such a thing. Like, that'd be. I mean, somebody. I don't know if anyone's done that with a tattoo
Oh
business.
man, I've had that a couple of times, like, and it's just like it kind of just makes you nervous.
Oh yeah.
you know, you're
Well, yeah.
like, man, I
Yeah.
was gonna do a good job, but now you're like
Yeah.
being a dick.
Were you kind of nervous when you first started doing it, like the pressure, like you cannot make a mistake at any point?
I, hang on, I've been drinking these like cold stream, fucking clear lime vodka drinks, and they make me burp, so I'm trying not to like burp into the microphone.
Oh, okay.
It's usually like real like loud, like Barney burps, Anyway, so what were we talking about?
Oh yeah, like when
Oh,
you.
the hair stuff and the
Oh yeah,
like
when you first started doing tattoos, like the fact that you
oh
cannot make.
yeah, I did it on the guy who apprenticed me, and like the first time I was kind of like partially shitting my pants because like not for real shitting my pants, but like definitely
Yeah.
definitely real scared that I wasn't gonna do it like a good job at all. But like it was, or actually it was more like or less what was he gonna say if it didn't pull a straight line or something like that. Like I was worrying about stupid shit that I didn't need to worry about because like I've been practicing for like probably a few months before, like 3 months before actually like tattooing real skin and like doing apprentice shit like
Yeah.
steady. Like so um yeah, like I had the option to pierce then, but I didn't take it. I just wanted to tattoo because I was like, well, I don't want to like half-ass something that I don't really want to do just to like, split my focus on the
Yeah.
thing that I want to do, right? So anyway, so I got like with that, like I had to do this fucking Chinese symbol on my mentor. It was the Chinese symbol for the ox. And I had an 8 round shader, which is like not really, it's not a fine point needle. So like like it's meant to just like cover ground. Like you basically like doing this like, as quick as possible. Like that's well not as quick as possible. That wasn't the aim. Like it's efficient. So
Yeah.
um I pulled these lines and made these like really fine point like where they needed to be on the symbol for the ox.
Hmm.
And he was just like, this point here, like, this is awesome. Da, 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 da. It was nothing but praise. And I was like, legit, just like shitting myself for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, but, everything's not like that. Like, I was pretty fortunate and was able to pick that. Like, it's something that I know how to do. And I do it, like, fairly well. I'm humble about that shit. So,
Well,
um,
Krista seems to have pretty high standards, so I guess you wouldn't still be working.
yeah, she does.
Yeah, she's serious about the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if you have to be like some kind of licensed medical practitioner to do the laser removal.
Yes.
Oh, you
That's
do like.
like, you do need to take courses on that. Um, that's pretty much it.
Mm. Oh, so like you could take the courses? Is that?
Yeah, yeah, you can learn how to do it.
Oh, because yeah, she could probably make more money doing that, but whatever.
Yeah, it was something that we were tossing around,
Oh
but
yeah. All right. So my next confession is the title is I am getting
Mhm.
tired of my marriage. Even so, there's another marriage themed post. I am getting tired of my marriage, even though my wife is great and I have two great kids. I work all the time and feel I'm not on the same wavelength as my wife. I'm almost waiting for a girl to make a move on me because I know I'll take it. I love my wife, but I don't think I'm in love with her. I think I'm still with her because of the kids. I often think about old girlfriends and what my life would be like had I not stayed with my wife. So it does seem like the grind of family life has a way uh, of eroding a marriage.
It can. Like, that's, I guess, like, people's responsibility to kind of like keep things exciting. Like, you don't have to like go out of your way and shit. It's just like give each other like what you need, like space and whatever, and like, just be a positive influence. And like, because I mean, kids do take a lot of energy. You have to be
Oh yeah.
prepared for that, right? Like, that's one thing. Like, every parent that I know, um like, no matter what, well, actually, once they get, more than one kid, it definitely gets more complicated because you don't have much time to yourself, right? You're
Yeah.
not going to have much time to yourself once the baby's born. Like, um, through till probably about 5-ish, unless you get like babysitters or like preschool, things like that. Like, you have to probably get them involved in some activities. Like, that's a good idea.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've read a lot of material online. In fact, I'm a member of a Facebook group for people who regret having kids, and sometimes
Yeah.
and when they describe the aspects of raising children that stress them out the most, quite often I find myself reading about things I their parent that they don't have to do for their children, that their children could walk to school, that they could
Yeah.
go to their various activities by themselves. They could be taught to fix some minor meals for themselves. But all today's parents seem to feel like they have to do it all for them. They're not encouraging their kids to be independent. Um,
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, when I was growing up, I had to do chores. I mean, the kids had to contribute in some way, especially if they wanted an allowance. So I don't know. It just seems like maybe people need to teach their kids to.
Yeah, if I wanted an allowance, I worked for it.
Yeah, yeah. Did you have to wash the dishes and shit like that?
I don't remember, like, I don't really remember, but I remember that I saved money for this porcelain doll. Like, it was like,
Oh
it
yeah.
was pretty creepy. Like, honestly, looking back, like, I have a whole like container full, and like some of them I can't remember how exactly I got them. I think they might have been gifts, like from my grandmother or something like that. Like,
They were expensive, right?
well, no, I don't know. Maybe like a couple of them might have been, or they might be. But the one that I saved for was a Cinderella one, and she had this really cool glass slipper that didn't like, you could put it on your foot. It was just like a decorative. piece on it. And like that was practically the main reason why I got it. But her dress is also very, very, very pretty. From what I remember. But yeah, I had fucking porcelain dolls. And like now it kind of creeps me out like a little bit that I have a container full of these shits. And I'm like,
I think
these are like actually kind of creepy dolls. Like,
I think some of them are worth a lot of money.
yeah, they can be.
Which is funny because they also make toilets out of porcelain, you know? Like, I don't know what
Yes.
about porcelain
They're
makes it.
toilet dolls.
Yeah, toilet dolls, yeah, basically.
Toilet dolls.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's certain, like, designers who have made the dolls, and there's, like, prestige that goes along with the name. Um, I mean, hopefully it's
Yeah,
not.
I mean, I guess it was a thing like for a long time because I mean, like if you think back on it, like porcelain dolls have been around for a while.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I
Like,
remember there was, like, this doll that was popular with girls in the 80s where it kind of looked like a court jester,
oh,
except.
cool. Okay, well, creepy, but also kind of cool.
Yeah, I remember seeing that around a lot.
Do you remember seeing like the faces with like the fluffy hair?
I think,
Like it was like feathers. Like it was like those the court jester faces. Like you could see like either they'd have like pictures of it hanging up but it was an actual like 3D face, or they'd have the doll, or they'd have like fucking a magnet. Like those things that like you could get them in fucking all sizes. I remember these fucking faces. Some people had them, and they're porcelain. But anyway, that just reminded me what you just said, the court gesture thing. Like,
yeah, it just see, like I knew a lot of girls who had them in their rooms, and
oh yeah, yeah. I had them when I was a kid. When I was a teenager, they moved up into the spare bedroom.
oh, yeah, someone else, huh?
Yeah. I kind of still liked going in there sometimes and seeing them because, like, for a bit, like, the old TV was in there. It was like a square looking motherfucker. Like, it wasn't very big, but, like, anyway.
Uh,
It was a nice little spare bedroom that reminded me of, like, fucking, like, my my childhood or the 80s. One of the two.
yeah, yeah.
Well, both, actually. Fuck. God damn
Well,
it.
do you remember
Yes.
there was a Barbie McDonald's thing? Like Barbie had a job at McDonald's. I don't know how she could afford that car with a job at McDonald's, but I
Oh
remember
man,
it was,
Barbie was a nurse. She was like all kinds of things. Like
yeah,
she was like, of course she could fucking afford that. She's like, you want to look up on Barbie like history.
yeah. She's been places, man. She's
Fuck.
I
It's
already
like speaking of my like porcelain doll thing, I also had Barbies.
oh, of course. I
Oh
mean,
my
that's a rite of
god.
passage. Yeah.
I was a tomboy, but I was also a girl, like very much. Like I got
You have a Cabbage Patch doll.
I had one at one point. It was a ginger one.
Oh
Like
yeah, I remember at one.
yeah.
I remember when they kind of went out of style. Like I would often see them like outdoors underneath someone's porch, and it would be like filthy with no clothes on. But or at least I hope that was a Cabbage Patch doll. Anyway, uh, all right. What's your next story? Your next-
Okay. Let's see. I gotta open my phone again here. All right. Um, this one is. Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. Um, sorry. I had to double check on like what one my next one was, and I'm like, oh okay, no, that was the worst one. Okay. The worst, best, worst. We'll say. Anyway, want to be cuckolded while diapered. I
Oh,
want my wife to dress me up as a sissy baby girl and cuckold me with a real man and expose my perverted desires to him so they can laugh at me while I sit in a wet diaper watching them make love.
wow. Talk about
So,
Talk about masochism.
Yeah, it is, and it's weird, but I've heard of like this like cuckold movement and like the sissy boy move. Like he combines it with the sissy like thing, which is another like it's a degradation on top of a degradation, like which is pretty brutal.
I mean, I wouldn't be interested in doing the
I
diaper thing, be a baby, but I wouldn't mind being in a situation where a woman was totally dominant. And
Yeah, just dominant, but like it was this seems a little like it's definitely not something I would do either way.
well, I guess this
You
guy,
know what I mean? It's not one of my things because I just feel like I feel super bad about degrading people. You know what I mean? I'm not about that. Like I'm a lover, not a fighter, although I can fight.
also that also incorporates scat, so that's not
Scat
usually that's
scat
not
is not a no. That's a
that's not a
no.
yeah that's not a gray area for anybody. I don't think some
Yeah,
people
that's
like,
that's
well,
a hard no for sure.
yeah,
and
like there are people who are bi curious, but I don't think there are a lot of people who are scat curious. Like, well, I'm
then
on the fence.
and
No,
then bestiality,
yeah,
and then also
bestiality.
pedophilia, that like all those
Yeah,
hard no.
yeah. Well, it's interesting. There's this interesting book I read called My Secret Garden. This woman placed ads in newspapers. This was in the 70s. And what she wanted was she asked women to write her letters confessing their secret sexual fantasies.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, a small percentage, possibly 4 or 5%, actually revealed that they had fantasized about bestiality. I think
Oh my God.
it involved dogs and probably horses too.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so yeah, a couple of the women admitted that they had fantasized about their fathers. They didn't want to have sex with their fathers, but they had the fantasy. So that's
Yeah.
so that was a yeah, there was a couple of those as well. It's a really interesting book actually, and I think there was like a sequel or two as well because she got a very enthusiastic response to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Well, I mean, that's like another thing too. It's like some of these like fantasies, like sometimes they're not something that like your mind like you actually like made up. Like maybe you had a fucking dream about it and you're like, I don't know what the fuck is happening downstairs. I'm fucking confused. Like because like some of it is like super real. And some of it is like, you wake up and you're like, I just can't, like, I literally just got off to that. Like, I mean, for guys especially, they have wet dreams all the time, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so it's like on the other side of that spectrum, like women can have that as well, like where they like, get off in dreams. It's not really a wet dream, but it is, I guess.
Well, it's like psychology 101. If you repress something, it comes back with a vengeance. So
True.
if you don't want to entertain a particular sexual thought, it might come back to haunt you in your dreams where you don't have any say in the matter. Uh,
Yeah.
so that can happen for sure. As far as cuckolding goes, I guess I'll go with a second confession for this episode and say wouldn't mind experiencing pegging. That's
Yeah. See,
that's a
like that's more fun. Like that's like, and you don't have to be like, well, I guess some men would view it as degrading, but it doesn't have to be.
well, if it is, then there's no point to them doing it because they won't enjoy it. But
Yeah, I mean, look at fucking Deadpool, that scene in Deadpool,
yeah,
which I absolutely loved the fact that they did that. Happy Women's Day.
well, men have the so-called A spot, so they can have an orgasm by being pegged. So there you go.
Yeah, it's not like, I mean, it's not something that like set up to do, but if my partner like fucking wants it and loves it and this and that, who am I to fucking deny
Hey,
them? Like, because I mean, like, honestly, like I get off on like seeing that sort of thing. Like if they're having a real good time, I'm having a fucking real good time.
And you can find out how exhausting fucking is because it's
As you get older, yes.
like for guys, it's almost like doing push-ups rapidly, and
Yes.
it's tiring if you're not. I don't know how the guys in porn do it. I guess I mean a lot of them work out a lot, so maybe that's how they do it. But yeah, that's why men tend to. One of the reasons why men fall asleep afterwards, it's because it's fucking exhausting. So
Yes.
here we are. So okay, my next confession. It's entitled Makeup. This isn't really a confession. My face and skin is terrible. I hate my skin. So, like most girls, I use makeup. However, I can't find anything that doesn't make my face look even worse. I don't know what to use and want to apply it properly. Ugh, I feel hideous. I need help. What do I use and how do I find out what color? I can't stand this anymore. Well, let me start out by saying I have never been turned off by the state of a woman's skin, and I've never heard one guy ever complain about something like that. Even if a girl had acne, that's
Oh man, I'm so self-conscious about that. Like myself, like because I have terrible skin. Like
what do you think is terrible about it?
okay, so I just break like what she described is like almost like me. Like it just breaks out sometimes. Like thank God that like the humid weather is all over with because now my skin can, chill out. But then there's still the mask that we wear and it chafes and like the material isn't always really nice to your skin. What else? There's all kinds of stuff. Like I get breakouts like for stupid reasons.
So so what do you wear a lot of foundation?
Yeah. Well, not a lot. Like just in the places where it matters. Like other than like my breakouts, which are kind of like fairly everywhere, not everywhere, but like there's, it's a fair amount to myself to cover. It sounds like, like I felt this girl, the makeup one, I felt her like with every part of my soul.
Yeah,
Because I'm like, man, I wear makeup and I like it took me a minute to find the right tone for my skin. But the best thing to do is to ask somebody about it, right? Like
yeah,
you go in and you like you talk to the woman and you're like, okay, this I tried. These are the things I don't like about it, and usually they can find you exactly what you need after that because you've just ticked off a bunch of things that like narrows the search down regardless. Like if you hate the thing that you just used and it's not the right color, you can still use that to find the right color.
yeah, that's true.
And
Like
just knowing how to like express what the fuck is happening.
so if
And all sorry.
if they go into Sephora, like do they have staff there who are experts on these matters?
Yeah, well, I mean, usually at like shoppers, they do have like someone who knows what they're talking about behind the counter. That's the reason why they're there
Yeah.
in the makeup area. Like what else? Sephora is pretty good. Like every single person in that place is kind of a makeup artist. They have to have like that makeup background, or at least know how to apply it, know how to sell these products. Because I mean, I honestly, I could probably get in if I kind of lied maybe a little bit on my resume. I could probably get a job at Sephora and like kill it. Because like I know makeup. I've been putting on my face since I was like fucking 13. So
Yeah. Good at it. Well,
well, no, I mean like when I was 13 though, I had no fucking clue. Like
yeah.
no clue. And like anyway, it
Well,
was
do you do your own makeup when you do the modeling gigs?
yeah, for the most part. Yeah, I do.
And you do it very well.
Thanks. Yeah, no, I collected a lot of palettes and I take a lot of inspiration from the things that creep me out or I love or whatever. Because I mean, there's a few horror ones that like I was vibing on Manson's kind of shit. Like he was rocking blue eyeshadow and like blacked out teeth and shit, and I was down for that. So
Well, a lot of guys look good with black eyeliner, and it doesn't necessarily make them look less masculine.
no, man, it actually can fucking really make you look tough. Like there's ways you can like smudge that and smear it and like make it look like kind of like I'm dirty and grungy, but like
Yeah,
edgy.
yeah, that can look really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. So the skin, like back to the girl. So she needs help like finding the right thing for her face. Like
yeah, yeah.
I wish we could address her because this one like I actually like, you know, it's like go to Shoppers, go to Sephora and do the things that, well, do as I say, but also like I mean yeah, like taking whatever the hell it is that you've been trying that hasn't been working and let them know why and be like, I need something that works on my face and like definitely wash your face or also take antibiotics. You can ask your daughter or daughter. You can ask your doctor doctor for antibiotics for bad acne. You can just be like, look, my acne, like this is what it's doing. It's like, you know, say like lots of little whiteheads, lots of like deep whatever. You gotta describe them. You gotta give them an idea as to what they're treating. But they can give you antibiotics and that helps. I find like a couple of days of taking that to like up to a week, say in a severe case, you'll see a difference. But you have to keep up on the medication.
Well, I mean, I find makeup attractive, even if it's
I
really,
love makeup. It's so
yeah,
fun. It makes me feel so like sexy and empowered. Like that's one of my favorites. It's actually kind of like zen for me too. Like I like
even when it
it,
comes to the girls who shave their eyebrows off and just
yeah, I
drop.
don't I've done that. I shaved my eyebrows off, but I never will do that again. Like they don't come in like I'm very blonde. I'd have to dye my eyebrows for them to show up. But yeah, like I've plucked them. It's they're little, so I just draw them on.
Yeah, you see, women have that privilege where you can, if you didn't naturally inherit good looks, you can totally
You can
take the
fake
etch.
it.
Yeah, you can take
Yeah.
the etch a
And
sketch.
that's what I feel like. That's what I feel like I'm doing most of the time. I'm like, look, I don't like how I look without makeup on. I look weird because there's no eyebrows, and the eyebrows are like it like totally changes my look. Like, and I don't mind just putting on like my eyebrows and mascara because that I feel fine with. But like once I put the winged eyeliner on, it's a different story.
Yeah,
You just feel better, like you do. It's like, oh, look, my eyes look way more open, or like, you just look cuter. It gets better the more makeup you put on.
well, yeah, you're a real artiste when it comes to cosmetics. So yeah,
Well,
you're
me, no, I mean, I just do all my shit on my own, like, and I mean, I know other people that are way I I know a lot of drag queens and they do their makeup. Like I'm like, you need to do my makeup. I
you're
want
good.
some crazy shit happening on my face. I do, like not crazy, but like the real the tricksy like eye makeup and like the shoot.
But you know what? Beards with makeup,
I don't know. Like that's
that doesn't work for me.
some of it I'm okay with, but like not like I do agree. Like it's kind of like a little bit of trimming maybe, and like that's cool. But like
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm kind of picky when it comes to that part. Like I love the full face feminine
Yeah.
thing because there's so many. I've watched RuPaul's Drag Race, and like I have a few. I can't even name any. Like, I can name half of them right now, but like, that's aside the point. There's too many. Like, I don't want to even start with half because there's like, once I get there, it's like, oh shit, like there's all these people and they all do their makeup different. They all do it so
Yeah.
different. But they're like, there's a few cartoony sort of like really, artistic like ones in there that I just like I die over. Like I don't understand how they do it.
Yeah, I
It's
guess.
ridiculous.
Yeah, some of them. It's a very over the top version of womanhood, of femininity. It's in that regard
Yeah.
very masculine. Men are very grandiose. Like you don't see a lot of real like cisgender women dressing and looking like that. So these guys really take it to the extreme. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm attracted to trans women, but I wouldn't be attracted to one that has a beard and makeup
Oh
at
yeah.
the time. So that's just me. But all right. So what's your last confession?
Okay. So it's
Mhm.
regretfully this one. And I had to because I just like I don't know, like it was terrible, but like I just don't and it's so weird how it actually tied into our conversation tonight because we were just talking about bestiality, right? And I feel like this is like definitely a very like it is or a very like big or a start to it. Anyway, I opened up my cat's booty hole, is what it's called.
Boy.
I know. When I was 13, I wanted to smell my cat's booty hole and lick it, but I was too nervous about someone finding out. So I waited till my family left and I decided to lick my cat's booty hole, and it felt so nice until my cat farted and some shit came out into my mouth. I'm sorry. I'm now currently 17 and can still remember the taste of my cat's beautiful booty hole. And I do want to shove my fist inside its ass again. Ass. There's like 4 stars after this, after the A. So I don't know what fucking word
Asshole,
that's
I
with.
guess so. Must have been
Yeah,
that.
probably. Yeah, asshole. For experiments. And like, that's okay. The fisting, no. I
No.
mean, none of this is okay to me, but like, um, back to that thing that you were saying that people, how many people were fantasizing about bestiality from that like 1970s chick?
Yeah,
How many? Like, it's
might say
still
the fourth.
probably going, right? Like, I would say there's more now because there's more people on the planet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I well actually, yeah, I went online once to see if there were people who admitted to engaging in bestiality, and I noticed that most of them were women. So I was this person.
Weird.
Did this person state their gender? By
No, I don't think so.
well, I mean, as far as sniffing the cat and all of the aftermath of that, that was a victimless crime, I guess. I mean, they ended up being
The cat was the victim.
yeah, but I mean, the fisting, no way. I mean, that's just gonna torture
No,
the cat and probably
that
kill it
ain't
as
cool.
well. So yeah, no, don't do that. But
Yeah, do not approve of that. That was no. That was a no. I mean, it's a no all over for me. But I guess if you have to think of it like in neutral, like how many people were harmed in that scenario,
yeah,
then yeah.
apparently, cat germs can actually be almost deadly. Like
Yep.
if you get
No
scratched.
wonder they're still alive.
Yeah, like if you get scratched by a cat, I think sometimes if there was like some residue from fecal matter or something, it could almost kill you. Like people have, I think, have almost died from that.
Mm.
So yeah, it's just, I mean, even if the cat goes into heat, or if you have a dog and it starts humping your leg or whatever, that doesn't mean that's not an invitation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, animals don't seem to have the same kind of sexual morality that we have.
Yeah,
Like
no, they're not. The only animals that I guess have sex for pleasure are dolphins.
dolphins, yeah, or pigs, because they can have 30-minute orgasms.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, can you imagine? I mean,
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. That would be a lot. Like every single time.
supposedly, yeah.
Fucking Jesus Christ.
It makes
30
you.
minutes. Like,
I guess that makes up for most of the other misery of their life, like pooping and shit. Most of that other stuff. But
mm,
the half-hour orgasm would probably make up for it, I guess.
yeah, I would say. Probably makes up for it.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I think uh, I think we're good to go. We've been doing this
Awesome.
for an hour. Yeah, great.
Sweet.
Thanks to everybody for listening. And this is Morgan Rector.
And Rosanna Chilton.
Have yourselves a great week.
Bye.
Bye bye.